Pickaxe.
We need more Studio Ghibli inspiration in Dungeons & Dragons. So thank the gods the Wandering Tavern Kickstarter is live right now. Dive into a rich tapestry of storytelling that seamlessly blends the epic fantasy elements of D&D with the heartwarming magic of Studio Ghibli. The Wandering Tavern is a Kickstarter project brought to you by Homie and the Dude, the father-son-led TTRPG creation team that created Sky Zephyrs, the D&D vehicle combat system for both airship, underwater submarines, and land vehicles that funded in under 4 hours. And this is their next big thing. In the Wandering Tavern, you will be able to explore, interact, and tell amazing stories with your friends as you get immersed in this unique and fantastical location inspired by the whimsical works of Studio Ghibli. Starting today, you can join their Kickstarter with special early bird deals for the first 24 hours. So be sure to click the link in the show notes to be a part of this incredible addition to your D&D campaign. The Wandering Tavern Kickstarter will include a huge, unique TTRPG agnostic setting that can be plugged into any D&D world. You get full setting history, 15 giant battle maps, 33 plug-and-play NPCs, 30 plot hooks, unique spirit mechanics, also more content and references from their previously funded Kickstarter. You get additional plug-and-play Zephyrs, Zephyr parts and stations, Sky Zephyr's Quickstarter guide. On top of that, you get 18 new magical items, 7 illegal trades, 13 setting-themed recipes, 3 downtime games to play with your party, 4 celebrations and holidays, all put together by 3 collaborators. The Wandering Tavern is open till May 2nd, so hop aboard while you can. Studio Ghibli awaits. Click the link down in the show notes to check it out, and be sure to show your support for these incredible third-party creators. They are truly keeping D&D alive, so be sure to click the link in the show notes and join in on this whimsical adventure. Welcome, cast and crew, back to Nocturne, A Curse of Strahd Tale. My name is Ryan McManus, and I will be your director for today. You can find me running the Cast Party socials at Cast Party D&D, or on my personals at Ryan.McManus. And I'm joined today by my cast and crew right out of a wolf fight, ready to embark towards a little camp. We have Vince.
I am playing Theren, the man of hope and retribution. You can find me at Cast Party, and you can find me at my own little personals with Jet and Pebbles.
And we have Christian.
Hi, I'm Christian. I'm the wolf that was slain, and I'll be playing Tannis, a chain forged in blood. And you can find me on my socials at Captain Carlson, that is cpt.carlson on Instagram, and captain.carlson on TikTok.
And we have me.
Can you just bark at me? Hi, I'm May, and I killed a ghost. I'm a ghost killer, or you could say ghost slayer, because Zielle is slaying in every meaning of the word. Okay.
Let's go.
Oh yeah, also I have social media. It's May.
Well, for you guys, I have a poem, if you'd like to hear it.
No.
I've been dreaming of this.
No, it's okay.
Oh, fine. All right.
Okay, fine. Well, fine. Just this once.
You all gathered round as Tannis contorted from a bloody handsome thing to something fiercely distorted. You tried to give him space, you held your weapons and magic close, but made no motion to hurt your poor frightened bloke. Before Tannis extended a claw that met Azria on the chin, as blood was revealed, so was a sharp-toothed grin. The fight began as Christian became the director, and I took over as Irina, but that clearly didn't fucking matter. For as the werewolf swung, a howl erupted. Irina cowered in fear as her courage was disrupted. With Irina out of the way, the blood dripped down the large rug. With a message from Zielle, Azria came in for the bear hug. The two began to tussle as you heard the snap of a rope. Tannis's brother could be seen by all, and it definitely wasn't dope. For he was playing with matter itself, trying to fling you all off your feet. Azria wrestled Tannis while Theren joined the heat, flinging his enormous greatsword for some hits across the face, while Zielle left a plume of mist where Tannis's brother stood in its place. Azria was left bitten, bloodied, and scarred as she collapsed to the floor. Death didn't seem too far. But slowly cut down, Tannis started taking control, as Irina bolted up and stabbed a teeny tiny hole. Tannis was distraught as you all informed him of what was real. Irina panicked for her safety, unsure of how to feel. Her protectors had proved worthy, though dangerous at the same time. But it was getting late from what you could see, so you followed the sign. You kept on trucking onto the beaten path. Wagon wheels in the mud, a party was to be had. For down below you see, in a clearing by a lake, wagons, wine, and food. But please make no mistake. Nothing is ever as it seems in this godforsaken valley. So what will you all do as you look upon these people, colorful and happy?
I suppose if nobody else is doing anything, I would look to Irina to lead us. Did you have any specific connection here, or you just knew of this place?
No specific names, sadly. Just some random folk that have popped by the tavern here and there. They've always been nice and kind every time they visited, so I assumed they would take us in, heal us up. If one of you would lead, though. Unless you really want me to.
No. It's fine. Just, everyone's been through a lot. I just wanted to make sure we were taking the right, proper channels and everything. Sure, we can find a tent that looks more leaderly or someone in charge, someone organizing things, right? We can figure out where we should best put our things before we figure anything else out. I guess I'll lead to, I don't know if there's like a hub that looks busier or a bigger tent or anything like that. I don't know.
It's not the biggest clearing you've ever seen. Down below, there's only about 6 to 8 tents in particular, as well as a few wagons hitched around, along with a couple horses that are currently drinking out of the lake that diverges into a river. As you walk down this muddied trail, your feet trying to avoid the divots that these wagon wheels have clearly made. From what you can see up here, you can definitely hear the people down below, given the horrid squeals of an accordion and the other rustling instruments from down below. There's about a dozen or so people around the campfire that seem to be either dancing or laughing, playing music for the others, telling stories.
Can I do a perception check to see if there are any obvious weapons around, or if this seems to be a place that is armed, or if these people seem to only have the instruments?
Absolutely. Feel free to give me a perception check from up here. You guys are descending down, I would say, anywhere from 50 to 70 feet through this somewhat winding little muddy path that leads down to this clearing.
16.
As you are traversing down, you're making really no motion to be stealthy about it, and getting the clearest eyes on them requires being on the path and avoiding the trees in the woods. You can see that some of them are armed with either a dagger at the hip or scimitars. Some have them lied down next to the logs that they reside on while they're talking around the campfire. No one's really armed, as if their hand is, on guard at all times on the hilt, ready to pull. It's more just there for show at this point.
Then can I also make a sleight of hand check to try to conceal? I know that I sort of have like a little ragtag outfit on in place of the cooler clothes that I lost when I turned into a wolf. I just would like to try and keep the metal hand as concealed as possible to try and not set off any alarm bells for people right out the gate.
Absolutely. Is there anything that you're using in particular to try to cover this?
I don't think I have anything. I think I've got, well, that's not true. I've got my bag. Is there any chance I can try and move my bag around in front of me? Sort of like a middle schooler carries their backpack in front of them. I'm kind of going to go for that move with the messenger bag and try and keep as much of my arm concealed as possible.
So more so like a kangaroo pouch, like you have it in the front of you, or do you have it more to the side with your hand just shoved in?
Interjection. Can I see him being all restless and odd
I don't think it's particularly hidden. No, he's definitely anxious. I think you can feel the anxiety.
Yeah, no, I felt the like waves coming from beside me.
My first thought was like, you said you were bringing your bag around, and I just thought you were gonna shove it in and like you know how people rob stores with their hand in their pocket and a gun in there? Like,
so
that's what I pictured. It's so threatening.
Right, that's not what I wanted.
okay.
I was going for more the kangaroo pouch that looks like, oh, he's weird, but he's not like a threat.
I'm gonna go into my bag because I have an extra cloak. It is a lovely dark red color. Just hand it over. I don't think she's gonna say anything. She knows how Tannis is. She's just gonna hold it out as they're walking.
Tannis will also silently take the cloak and very, not like clumsily, but a little bit hurriedly put on the cloak and then puts his hands together like in front of him so the sleeves are covering everything kind of in a monk-esque fashion. Tannis is definitely looking a little bit weird, but hopefully non-threatening.
With the disguise, I guess you could say, in place, you all continue down this muddy path. And as you begin to approach, a couple from the camp below takes notice of you as you are walking down in your frail and injured state. A larger man, about 6'4", broad build, larger than life both in mass and his voice. He is just an overwhelmingly massive individual. He has short buzzed head of black hair, at least what's peeking out, along with colorful garments of different bold, vibrant colors and patterns. He takes note of you as he stops dancing with his, what you can assume to be either friend or someone of the sorts from the camp, just enjoying his time, and peers up at you. And as the music continues on, all you hear is, "Ha ha ha! You finally arrived! Come sit! Madam Eva said you'd be arriving soon!" As he begins to take note of your bloodied and beaten state and rushes you all quickly. She made no mention of this. Assistance, please! Medics! Healers, anything!
Oh.
As he calls for people below. As healers begin to then make their way up with different remedies, and you are instantly swarmed with people concerned for your well-being. It's almost overwhelming. You have about 2 or 3 of you each as they are looking over your wounds, your scrape marks. They're adding plants to any sort of rashes. They're offering you liquids. Whether you drink them or not is up to you.
No.
Gross, no.
They're saying it could cure your scars or heal you in some way, whether it's your physical state or your mental state. However, they seem to take more of a note on Azria's bites and slashes, specifically across her neck. In her woozy state from nearly bleeding out, they rush Azria off to a nearby tent for a little more intensive care. Trust me, it's fine. If they say she needs help, I promise they'll get it done. Is everyone else okay? Is it just the 5 of you, or?
Yes.
Seems to be it.
Everyone good. No one hurt like she was.
Tannis.
Which one of you is Tannis?
The half-naked looking one.
Ah.
He could use a pair of fresh clothing.
Boy, do we have that for you.
I would appreciate that, thank you.
Who's Ava?
Madam Eva!
Sorry, Madam Eva.
She's our, I guess you could say, local fortune teller. People come far and wide for a reading from Madam Eva. She told us you would be coming, and we've had the festivities going all night because we weren't sure when. You guys sure took your time.
I'll look towards Irina, give a inquisitive eyebrow like, you ever hear this?
She takes note of the eyebrow and just a shrug.
Why would you have a party for people you don't even know?
We have to welcome the newcomers. It's not every day you find new faces around here.
I'm sorry. What all did Ava say? Did just that people were coming, or was there anything more specific?
If she was more specific, she'd tell us you got your asses kicked, but here we are.
Right.
I don't know. It was so thoughtful of you to throw a party for us, but I don't know if everyone's up to that tonight. And she'll look at her discouraged party.
Maybe specifics would have helped a bit in this situation. We can tone it down. Not a fan of an accordion, I take it.
Oh, no, any music is great. And, I mean, I suppose I could do with, like, a glass of wine.
Oh, now we're talking.
But just one.
We can do that.
Or a better accordion player.
What?
Who?
We can have a chill night if that's what we're going for. A little more of a relaxing, hang out, get to know one another sort of party. More of a get-together than a shindig.
You're right. Whatever's going on down there seems like it'll be a good distraction for us. I think we could use that.
Can I try and slip away? Make my way somewhere where there aren't a lot of people having a great time?
Sure. Go ahead and roll me stealth.
Do we have to counter-roll that, or?
Ooh, yeah.
If you're looking, yeah, absolutely, feel free.
Oh, yeah.
Is he at disadvantage because he's wearing a bright red cloak?
Let's do straight perception if you're trying to notice Tannis walking away.
You're trying to beat a 12.
12.
I rolled an 18.
12 will go to Tannis. Theren, you are a little too preoccupied in this boisterous man, keeping your eyes peeled for the accordion player for some reason that I did not catch and I'm concerned about. While Zielle, you catch note of your bright red cloak wisping off, tucked behind a tree at the moment, as Tannis begins to circle the camp through the trees so he can get a little bit more on the outskirts of the tents, more so by the lake with the unbridled horses.
Well, while Theren and this large man are going who, what, where, how, I'm gonna just send a message to Tannis really quick. Don't go too far.
No, I just, horses.
This man slowly walks you down to join the festivities. They have died down a little bit, knowing that people have been hurt. The healers came and helped you out. They have now gone back into their wagons to either sort out their ailments or their jars that they had left. They bring you around the campfire. Now, what brought you here? We're used to big festivities, but we're gonna take it easy for our new friends, as he gestures to the rest of the people sitting on logs by the campfire or slowly tuning their instruments, getting ready for the next song. I heard that wine was in order, though.
Wouldn't mind a glass.
Other?
Theren.
Okay, so we have Theren, Tannis, no idea where he went, and?
Zielle.
It's a pleasure.
And you?
Araja.
And are you the leader of this group of people, or?
We don't really do the whole leader thing. We're just a free people. We do as we wish, we stay out of harm's way, we don't bug others and others don't bug us.
How long have you been here?
At this location, a few days, we saw the sign for the clearing and decided to pop up. Lake was beautiful in the moonlight, horses needed a drink, and that's when Madam Eva decided to tell us that we would have visitors. And here we are.
And how long do you plan on being here?
Well, I guess now that you finally arrived, we can head out tomorrow if we want. That's the joy of being able to do as we please. We can go about our way if that's what we so wish.
What is your point in this place then?
Enjoy it while we can.
Enjoy this.
It might seem difficult. Sometimes it's hard to enjoy something that's so dreary and dull, but there's always a bright side, and we try to live that every day. Plus, at least Strahd lets us leave from time to time, so that's helpful.
Strahd?
Yeah.
And how do you leave?
We just walk through the mist.
So he controls it?
I would assume so. Or at least he can permit people to go in and out. Some sort of deal the ancestors struck with Strahd way back. They, found him, wounded after a battle, healed him up, popped him in a wagon, and nursed him back to health. And he may have cursed this land, but he lets us do as we please in almost a form of silent repayment, I guess you could say, for our generosity.
I'm guessing you, at some point, made a deal with him as well?
No. Oddly enough. It's just those who follow in our footsteps. Families for generations.
Where do those footsteps lead?
If only I knew. We can go out, but we must come back. Like you all, we're stuck here. At least until Strahd is gone. But who knows when that will be.
So you wouldn't mind if he was gone?
We pay no mind to Strahd, and Strahd pays no mind to us. We try to keep it that way. I take it you are fairly new here.
We've seen a lot of things in Barovia.
As one does, it doesn't take long.
Didn't take long for Strahd to have a interesting conversation with us, to say the least.
You met him?
I suppose so. Kind of forced into a conversation, but we saw him in person.
Curious. Did he do this to you? And he just points at your scrapes and wounds.
No, that is...
No, we encountered some wolves on the road.
There it is. It's always the wolves.
common occurrence here.
Wolves grace every part of these woods. They're just as relevant as trees at this point.
In the town of Barovia, they mentioned that there might be some humanoid wolves as well. Is that a common thing in Barovia?
Humanoid wolves. Like werewolves?
Yes, I think so.
Possibly, of the sorts. We've seen bigger ones running through the trees, silhouettes of some on their hind legs, so maybe.
Ooh. Okay. Your outlook is delightful. May we meet this Madam Eva as well, since she already knew of us?
Absolutely, whenever you're ready. She did have it fated that she would speak with all of you, but if your friend needs time, we can chit-chat around the fire, swap stories. Where do you all hail from?
Theren will sit in silence.
We came from a town called Avrosa. It's about 5 hours east. I don't exactly know where we are anymore, truthfully.
So quite a long trip to get here. Sorry you ended up in this place.
It's alright, our services were requested, and it does certainly seem that they are needed. But we're still figuring out how we can best help.
Well, what is your plan now that you're stuck in Barovia? Just waltzing around and getting a lay of the land, or is Strahd on your list?
Yes, he's certainly on there. We're currently headed to Vallaki to escort our friend here. But from there, we're still figuring it out. Whereabouts from here even is Strahd? He has a place that he stays, right?
He does indeed, and you should be able to pass it on your way.
Oh, great, on the way. We might have to double back. We definitely need to go to Vallaki first. But that's good to know.
Understandable. Well, if you're looking for some sort of guidance, Madam Eva is the person to speak with about that. Depending on what your plan is with Strahd, it might be good to get a look into how you might be able to help.
Perhaps we should see if Tannis comes to join us. We could just drink and enjoy the music.
Of course.
Right, Theren? And she'll elbow him, clearly sitting there just brooding.
As you elbow Theren, another small child comes up to Araja. Araja, can you tell us the story of the wizard's tale again, please, for the newcomers? And we're gonna jump to Tannis.
Tannis is not doing anything particularly straightforward. Made space so that he can brood and try and process everything that's happened. He's found the horses in the lake. Is it close enough that I could be talking to the horses while throwing rocks at the lake?
100%. These horses are drinking from the lake on the little rock bed that surrounds it. So you can absolutely hunker down there, have a little chat with the horses, and skip some stones, dip your feet in.
His boots are shredded at this point, so his feet dipped in the water, very gloomy, tossing stones one at a time at the lake, and just trying to work through his thoughts out loud. As someone who feels that they've always been comfortable around animals, he always really appreciated horses in particular. As he sits, how can I... So someone did this to me. Right, you understand. And so that means that it's not my fault. Right? I didn't do that. I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't hurt Osria. I wouldn't hurt Osria. She gave me a chair, but my chair. She gave me my chair, and So no, I didn't hurt her. But I did. They said I bit her. They had turned into a wolf and You've never turned into anything, obviously, but if you had, I wonder what do you even say after that? What do you do? How many times can you apologize for trying to bite someone's throat out? God, when you say it out loud, it sounds so much worse. That's what I was gonna say. You get it. Throws another rock into the water. They want to keep me in the group, but I feel like a liability at this point. I mean, wait, what happens if I turn into a wolf again? What would you do?
No noises. The horse next to you just dips his head down to take another drink from the lake.
Why am I talking to a horse? God. Okay, alright. So, what do we know, right? That's where we start. They found me. They give me the arm. That must have been when it happened, right? That makes sense. They did something. The things I can do with the chain, I always thought that was weird, but maybe this is part. Oh my God, maybe this is part of that. And I've always been this thing, and I just didn't know. Oh, that's horrifying. I don't have any clue. Who's turned into a wolf before? There's no one to talk to. What am I going to walk into the town and ask this large man for advice? They'd kill me. They'd be right to kill me, I think, wouldn't they? Oh, God, I don't know what to do. Maybe I should just leave. Maybe if I run away, then they won't have to deal with that anymore, and I can figure out how to control this thing on my own without hurting anyone anymore. God, I just told Theren. I know you don't know who Theren is, but you'd like Theren. He's a lot like you, actually. I just swore to him a blood pact. I swore to him that I would always watch his back. And Zielle. God, Zielle. I tried to kill Z.
You done yet, sunshine?
God, stop doing that. That is bizarre and a bit intrusive, if I might be honest.
You're doing it back. You're in my head.
What? Has something changed? Do you need me to come over there, or what?
Yeah, they're telling a story and there's wine. Come over here.
What story?
It's like one of your books. It's like that book you're reading. It's got heroes and magic and things.
After like a moment, he'll silently stand up and slink around to the back of whatever crowd is gathered around listening to this story. But he will also flip up the hood and try and be as nonchalant in a weird way as possible.
I'm gonna pass him my wine, and then there's like, I don't know, like a kid or something. I'll be like, hey, could you grab me another glass of wine, please? Or a love flagon?
Yeah, do you like the green bottle or the blue bottle?
Surprise me.
Okay.
I'll take the other.
Oh, okay. Runs off with 2 cups straddled in the air as Araja begins to speak. Nice of you to join us. Just in time for stories.
Oh, no, don't perceive him. Don't perceive him.
Pulling the hood down a little bit lower.
Understood. Just a listener. That's fine. Well then. A mighty wizard came to this land over a year ago. I remember him like it was yesterday. He stood exactly where you're standing right now. A very charismatic man he was. He thought he could rally the people of Barovia against the Devil Strahd. He stirred them with thoughts of revolt and bore them to the castle en masse. When the vampire appeared, though, the wizard's peasants' army fled in terror before getting slaughtered. A few stood their ground and were never seen again. The wizard and the vampire cast spells after spells at each other as he flails his arms trying to mimic this spellcasting. Their battle flew from the courtyards of Castle Ravenloft to a precipice overlooking the falls. I saw the battle with my own eyes. Thunder shook the mountain sides and great rocks tumbled down. Lightning from the heavens struck the wizard, and again he stood his ground. But when the Devil Strahd fell upon him, the wizard's magic could not save him. I saw him thrown 1,000 feet to his death. I even climbed down the river to search for the wizard's body, but it had already spirited him away, never to be seen again. Just one of our many campfire tales. The little ones love it. The magic is always fun for them when I do the Your turn!
Theron's gonna look around for that kid with the drink.
Just in time.
Sorry, I had to wait for him to be over, or else he might have flailed around and hit my glass. I didn't want your wine to be spilled. Here you go.
Thank you.
Just one little pat on the top of the head.
As he goes and takes a seat back on the log, eagerly awaiting your stories.
Is Tannis standing near me?
I think so.
Zielle, a arm just outstretches right in front of your face as Theren hands over his glass to Tannis.
Tannis has already finished the glass that Zielle had handed him and takes yours. Gives you a very, inquisitive look. Not sure where this is going. But then quickly downs the wine that you've just handed him.
Can I intercept it before he can down it?
No.
This is right
Sleight
in
of
front
hand.
of me.
Sleight of hand.
No. Yeah,
Sleight of hand.
I will. I don't care.
Do
Dude,
it.
you know what I'll do? I'll strength roll against you right now. I'll take it out of your hand.
Oh my god.
Wait, can I roll acrobatics?
I would try to get it in the interception, try to I just gave him that glass of wine 2 seconds ago, and we saw what happened last time. Tannis and Osric went through something dramatic.
Can I roll acrobatics to get around the attempt?
Yes, let's do Tannis acrobatics, Zielle athletics to see if you are quick enough to snatch this. And Tannis, let's see if you are acrobatic enough to almost whirl your arms around without spilling the glass.
No!
You first.
I got an 8, so...
I got a 10, and it's not amazing acrobatics, but it's just good enough.
With the roll being so close, I will say about a third of that wine did spill in the process of you trying to chug it quick enough with Zielle trying to intercept it.
You owe me another wine.
Yeah, you'll get it in 30 minutes.
Narrows his eyes.
Zielle, after the day he had, he could use an extra drink.
And we have all night. We have our fortunes to be told and stories to be told. By the way, Tannis, you should know some stories, right? You read a lot of them.
Please
Perhaps you could tell them to these good people.
enlighten us.
You said that there are a number of children around?
About 2 or 3.
How engaged do they look in this storytelling experience?
The one who has brought you both your wines seems to be head on his hands, elbows on his knees, leaned forward on his log, very enthralled with Araja's story, as he loves the wizard's tale, but is also waiting for more to be entertained throughout the night.
Making eye contact, I think, with the kid. All right. I know a few stories. Let's see. What about... the Yoke Roken, the old dragon riders, is that? Have you heard that story before?
No.
Well, it's a good one. It's a story my mother used to tell me about the old elvish dragon riders. They were the protectors of the entire world for a long time, long before you were born. These elves used to, well, much like knights and their horses now, these elves used to have dragons that they grew up with. So long ago, there were 3. Their names have long since been forgotten to time, but their deeds are immortal. See, they were the last dragon riders, and when they were around, there came a threat so big, they were the only ones who could possibly stop it. There was a sorcerer, you see, who had come up way in the north, in the Ice Mountains, and he had decided he was better than everyone else, and he deserved to rule over everyone. So he started to create an army of monsters from all over the land, and no one could stop him. You see, he was using his magic to make these monsters even stronger than they should have been. Just when things started to look their most bleak, down from the mountains, up in the Feywild, a world no one has seen in quite some time, 3 dragons soared in to save the day at a very, very pivotal battle. The forces of all mankind were engaged with these monsters, but a terrible loss was being had until they looked up and saw these dragons coming in from overhead. We saw a purple dragon, a green dragon, and most curious of all, they saw a prismatic dragon, all colors. As these dragons soared overhead, the men watching were enamored. The dragons flew in and began to breathe fire and One of them breathed this green, noxious, poisonous gas, and the other breathed what looked to be a beam of rainbows into these crowds, this huge horde of monsters. And after a long time of fighting, they finally cornered the monstrous sorcerer. And as they came closer, the sorcerer said, "You might have defeated me today, but one day, I'll return." And with a flick of his cursed staff, magic enveloped him like a deep, dark mist, evaporated before their very eyes. No one saw him since, and the dragon riders have long since passed. But the rumor is that when he does return, so too will the dragon riders. But no one knows who the dragon riders will be. It could be you, or you, or you.
Whoa.
And that's the story of the Yoke Roken, the dragon riders.
Araja gives you hefty claps with his big bare hands. Now that's the story night we like! Well done. Well done.
Thank you.
All right. Well, with that, you've gotten the children's hopes up. Let's put them to bed. Enjoy your wine. Madam Eva also awaits in the tent by the river. And you can see one of the tents is lit up with a slight reddish glow, a lot larger than the other tents around. The night is yours. We'll let you wind down. Some of us are about to hit the hay, so I'm sure we'll have a tent free. If you would like to share, you may sleep out here. Whatever you fancy. It was a pleasure meeting you all. I'm sure we can talk more if you're awake and need some company. I'll leave you to your peace.
Is there a bottle of wine unattended?
There's someone we can speak to, Tannis.
And we'll speak to them in a second. I'm going to get a bottle of something.
It's not going to help if you can't remember what they've told us.
That's fine. You can remember it for me. Does that sound fun?
No.
Perfect.
Tannis.
What? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're right. I'm sorry. I will pour myself a glass.
Well, if there was any question as to whether you're still the same surly man, you seem the same to me.
Oh, the same. Ah, yes. Haha. Yes.
And quite the storyteller to bat, I suppose.
Yeah, well, my mom used to tell me stories. Some of them stick, I guess.
Not from one of those pieces of parchment you carry around at all times, or what?
Well, I do carry that story. We were going to talk to someone?
Yes, Madam Eva, the one who knew we were coming. She apparently might have some advice regarding Strahd as well.
If you all are ready for it, that is. Gestures his head towards your drinks. If you'd like to bring it with us, or we can take a moment.
I'll try and finish mine.
You're not getting another glass, buddy.
Fine. Cut me off.
Sir, you were talking to horses when you were sober. I think you're good.
Okay, first of all, you shouldn't spy on people. That is rude. Second of all, I wasn't talking to horses. I was talking and there were horses. It's different.
Oh, okay, so talking to yourself.
I'm sorry. From Zielle? You're telling me you've never talked to yourself in the mirror?
Not talking to myself.
Who are you talking to?
Suni, were you talking to a god?
Yes, of course I was.
No, you weren't.
Yes, I was.
He was talking to the horses. She's gonna say to Theren.
Can we just go to wherever we're going to talk to the mystical lady who knew we were coming?
Are the children done bickering yet?
Okay, Theren.
I'm older than you, but yes.
If you all need a moment, take it. We can sit, you can drink, we can talk. If not, let's go talk to her.
If there is anything that you want to say to me, please, now is the time. I can't do this.
I don't think there's anything to be said right now. What's done is done. What happened, happened. We will figure it out.
What do you want us to say? You're clearly looking for something.
Of course, I don't know. I don't know. I turned into a wolf and sort of look around to see if anybody is listening in on this conversation.
Everyone seems to be minding their own business. Whether it's huddled about in little pockets playing music for one another, or people telling stories by the fire, or just cheersing to a private conversation.
I turned into a wolf, and I tried to kill you. I almost did kill Osria, and I cannot imagine that you don't have any questions or things to say. Why don't you want to kill me is my first question.
That wasn't you.
Because you're my friend?
You're not trying to kill us now, are you?
No, of course not.
Would you have killed me if I had transformed?
No, of course not.
Well, there you go.
I am afraid. And I am confused because you don't seem afraid. And I don't know what this is. I have no idea that this is... I didn't know this could happen.
And we didn't either. And we're here now. And we're safe. We took care of it. If you give in to that fear, it will eat away at you for the rest of your life. Do you want that to make you weaker every day?
I'm not weak.
You don't let that control you. When the moment's right, maybe at some point, you could use it. At any point during that, did you feel control?
I wasn't even there. It was like I was unconscious or gone. Like I woke up and I turned around and I had just tried to kill all of you. It wasn't me, but it was me, and I don't...
If it was you, then you can control it in some way.
Tannis, you were there. Even if it was just subconscious, I saw it in the creature's eyes. It was you, and you didn't want to be there. You were fighting back.
If there are no more questions, then then we can move on. I just wanted to give you both the opportunity to clear the air, voice any concerns, but it seems that you don't have any, which is a plus. But I will say, if it does seem that I am losing control again, and there are people in danger, please do not hesitate. Promise me that, and I won't bring it up again.
We will take care of it. We took care of it once. We can do it again.
Tannis, you aren't the monster that's inside of you. You're what's holding it back.
You're right. That's not who I am. I suppose I also want to say thank you, both of you, for believing in me, and for sticking beside me, and for protecting people from me, all of that. I know it's not fair to ask of you, and I am so grateful that you are both my friends.
Any other concerns we should bring up? Seeing as we're pouring everything out. Any other story times?
Well, I'm certain no one has issue with me.
Zielle, funny you mention yourself. Why don't you give us a lovely story?
What do you mean?
Tannis has given us a story. It seems like it's your turn.
I don't have a lot of stories to tell. I mean, I may be older than you, but...
Oh, come on. Yes, you do. Come on, I'd feel better if you did.
Why would I want to make you feel better? I just did that.
If you just said all of those things about me being able to fight the monster inside and that you thought that I could do it, and I figure out that you've got no experiences like that, and better yet, no secrets at all of that's going to start feeling a bit hollow, isn't it?
I'll think about it, but none come to mind. I've been in Avrosa for years, and you know as well as I, nothing terribly exciting happens there. We have festivals and parties, and it's... I don't know, nothing... I haven't done anything until now. I just grew up, and I left, and now I'm here.
Tannis, give me insight.
Oh, yeah, buddy.
17.
Can I roll?
You can if you would like.
18, baby!
Oh,
Wow.
I will let you give Tannis exactly what Zielle would want to give Tannis.
She's not really acting different than she normally does. Like, there's not anything suspicious about it. Like, she is just being flippant. Zielle does what she wants, says what she wants. You know her. You've known her for a while now. Like, there's probably more, but she's not being suspicious about it anyway, if that makes sense. That being said, even though you've known her for a while, you know she came from a city of sun elves not that far from Avrosa, but kind of secluded from it, separate from it. She doesn't really like her parents. That's most of what you would know, I think.
Just so we're clear, All of my cards are on the table, and you two get to keep telling me exactly how much I should be fighting against these dark secrets in my closet, and keep yours all nice and tidy and locked away. Now that seems fair, huh? Let's go talk to the psychic about my metal arm, which you all know about now. Maybe get me cured of this horrifying wolf form, which you all know about now. And maybe we can ask her about my brother, which you all know about now. Theren, any stories from you? Or are you also a locked closet?
I suppose I do owe you a story, don't I?
No, look, you don't owe me anything, but I would appreciate one. But if you'd like to keep them, your secrets are yours. I'm just frustrated.
I do have to keep the promise I gave you. Theren will kind of sit back a little bit, look more intently into the fire. You just want the notes of the story? You want the full details of the story? How would you like this?
As you now know, I am something of a fan of stories, but I will take the notes version if that is what you are willing to give me.
I had a family once. I was one of 3. And before we grew old, our parents left us. Not at their own will. Plague took our town. And with it, our parents. I was the oldest, and I had to take over. I was the parent for both my brother and sister. And I did, I think, a decent job. Until one day, when I took my siblings to just out of town, just to play in the fields and chase after some little critters, have a day out of town. And we played until a carriage arrived. Black, with a horse, bigger than I've ever seen. But nobody controlling it, telling it where to go. And as that carriage stopped, the door slowly swung open, and a man came out. And he looked to my little sister, and he gestured her towards the door, and told her if she came with him, he had plenty of food, and water, and toys. And she'd live a long and happy life with him. And she looked towards me and my brother, and we said no, not a chance. And so she listened, and she turned away from the man. We began to leave. Before we could, she fell. And when we looked back, we saw he stood over her with his long, long sword through her chest. And he looked up towards us with nothing but that fucking smile and said, "You're next." And we looked down to see her, and she was motionless. And I'll never forget that face, and that top hat, and that dark cloak. Nothing but black, from head to toe, deep in his soul. Hatred. I didn't know what to do, so we took off. And where else do we go? Where do we feel safe but home? And we ran, and we ran, and we made it. And he wasn't there. And we jumped in the bed, and we shook, and we cried, until we heard a knock at the door. And the door bursts open, and there stands the man. He comes strolling in, and he gives that smile yet again, until my brother, little Baron, ran towards him. And he said, "No, leave. We don't want to come with you." And as he said his last word, that same long sword stuck through his throat. And as he slowly slid it out, he lay, bleeding, in the middle of the room. And I blanked. I didn't know what to do. I grabbed a poker out of the fireplace and swung it at the man. And next thing I know, I hear this terrible, terrible scream. He grabs at his face and runs out, leaving me there with my brother. Crimson red, filling the floor. And I grabbed for him as he bleeds in my lap, and slowly his eyes begin to fade. As they do, I hear something talk to me. I don't know where it came from. I don't know what it was. But all I heard was,
I can fix him. I can save him. Until you are whole. The choice is yours.
and I agreed. What else am I to do but agree to save the only thing I had left? Next thing I know, he's gone. His body disappeared. And in place of him came this. And I gesture the sword. And to this day, I carry him with me to seek my vengeance on that man.
So sorry, Theren.
Tannis is going to wipe a tear from under his eye.
God, I hope that I'm there whenever you find this man. If it is within my power to help you find this man, I will. I made you a promise too, and I intend to keep it. For whatever that's worth. I know how it feels to lose a brother, so I'm really sorry. Though yours is not gone. He travels with you, which is a blessing, I'm sure.
Now you know why I travel.
Wait, you said to me once, didn't you say you'd been traveling since you were 7?
Yeah.
Can see why you have your doubts about hope now.
You can see that purple wisp come out of the sword, and it just forms in front of the fire, and Baron is just sitting in front of it, just holding his hands in front of it, warming his hands.
Hello, Baron. It's good to see you.
Theren, would you like to dance? They're still playing music, right? That awful accordion's still playing somewhere.
It is indeed.
He pops up really quick and jumps in your direction.
May I have this dance?
He just grabs your hand and starts doing like both arms jumping up and down in a circle.
I'm picturing I've seen this 100 times exactly in my head. It's like when someone, like an adult, is dancing with a kid at a wedding, and it's just so cute.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
She'll put on a smile for him. Doesn't want to bring the mood down.
You don't really think that was my brother who came back and you killed, do you? Just another weird illusion from this awful place, right?
Imagine Zielle still spinning Baron, but she's kind of just standing. She stops in place to respond. I don't know if he was just a monstrous creation of this place. Why would he have wanted to protect you then?
That is an excellent question. To be completely honest, I'm not sure that my brother would want to protect me, so... Oh, gods, I'm sorry. Thank you for sharing, Theren.
Theren will grab the sword, stab it into the ground, and kind of use it as a cane to stand up. Well, if no other stories, no other trauma to go over, I say we talk to the lady, and let's go to bed.
Madam.
Right. Madam.
Madam.
Does anyone remember where the madam is?
Don't think we're far from her tent. It should be right over here.
It's maybe some 50 feet away, just on basically the outer circle of the tents, a little more towards the lake. You can see it is the only one lit up with this magic reddish glow from these flames coming from the interior of the tent.
Tannis will sort of clumsily stand up after more than enough wine, steady himself, and then he's going to wait for somebody else to take the lead.
She'll do a little curtsy to Baron to finish the dance, and then she'll lead them to Madam Eva.
Baron will do a curtsy back, and as he goes down to finish the curtsy, he slowly dissipates.
As your dance has ended, you pry yourself off of these moldy logs around the campfire. You make your way to Madam Eva's tent. You peel back the cloth tent flap and reveal a low table covered in a black velvet cloth. Glints of light seem to flash from a crystal ball on the table as a hunched-over figure peers into its depths. And as the crone speaks, her voice crackles like dry weeds.
At last you've arrived.
Cackling bursts of laughter like mad lightning from her withered lips. Before you, half-bathed in shadow, an elderly woman sits at this small round table. Her long dark hair falls gracefully around her shoulders, adorned with colorful scarves and trinkets that jingle softly as she moves. She's dressed in all sorts of mismatched, colorful layers.
Welcome, everybody. Nice of you to finally join. I hope you've enjoyed your stay around the fire.
Have you been waiting long for us?
I wait as long as I need to, as long as I am told.
How long have you been watching us? What do you know?
Theren.
I know not of who you are, where you come from. I just know that you are to face the devil, and I am here to guide you.
And who guides you in your divination?
Don't know where the voices come from, where these powers lead me, what knowledge is graced upon myself. But I take it as a gift, and I use it to the best of my ability to help those I come across, or let people down in ways that you could never imagine. Well, let us see what your fortune here holds in Barovia, if you so wish. You want to leave this land, but there's much to be discovered. If you acquire this knowledge, wield these relics, maybe then you'll stand a chance at taking down the devil himself. For that is the only way to clear the mists. Is this your goal?
Yeah, I would like to, kill Strahd.
Yes, we wish to help this land, and also return home.
If it's what we must do to return home, so be it.
Perfect.
And she calls you all up to the table to take seats on these very low stools to sit around this black velvet cloth. As she begins shuffling cards in her hands, a very black card with intricate white designs on the back, as she pulls a single card from the top of the deck, slides it across the table into the leftmost position from your point of view.
This card tells of knowledge, history, of the ancient. This will help you better understand your enemy.
As she flips it over, revealing the conjurer. As she peers into her crystal ball on the table.
I see a dead village, drowned by a river, ruled by one who was brought great evil into the world.
As she reaches for the deck once more, she grabs a card, slides it across the table, and places it into the top position.
This card tells of a powerful force for good and protection, a holy symbol of great hope.
As she flips the card to reveal the illusionist.
A man is not who he seems. He comes here in a carnival wagon, not like our own. There lies what you seek.
Picks another card and places it in the rightmost position.
Now this card is for power and strength. It tells of a weapon of vengeance, a sword of pure sunlight.
As she flips the card to reveal the warrior.
This treasure will be difficult. It lies in a dragon's house, in hands once clean, now corrupted.
Reaching for another card, she places this in the bottom position, leaving a hole in the middle.
This card is to shed light on one who will help you greatly in the battle against the devil.
As she flips it to reveal the artifact.
Peculiar. You must look for a man an entertaining man with a monkey. This man is more than he seems.
As she reaches for one final card and places it in the middle.
And finally, to the devil. Your enemy is a creature of darkness, whose powers are beyond mortality. This card will lead you to him.
As she flips the last card, revealing the marionette.
The beast sits, patiently waiting on his dark throne. You know where to find him when the time is right. Gather these pieces, gather your allies, acquire the relics, learn the knowledge. That is your only hope of clearing the mists. Do you understand?
We do have hope that we might actually achieve this. Yes? There's a chance?
If you can acquire what I have given you, use these words to your advantage. There's always hope.
What would you say the chances are that we actually acquire these things?
That is beyond my knowledge. I'm so sorry. May I ask, would you like individual readings while you're here? To tell of your past and potentially your future?
I mean, I already know of my past, but future could be useful for each of us, I think, right?
Will it give us guidance on what to do next for our own personal gain?
Guidance, warnings. I never know until I start.
Well, that sounds terribly fun.
Perfect. We'll start with you then. If you two would kindly scoot back as she reaches forward across the black velvet cloth and begins to gather up her cards as she shuffles the deck once more. Zielle and Theren, there are other stools that you can sit just slightly farther back. Madam Eva just requires Tannis to be front and center at the table. You may all witness the fortunes. We will start with you. As she pulls a card and slides it across the table. Oh, a mercenary, I see. Protecting the lives of those you care for, or those who pay well. You lend your steel and are rewarded for doing so. As she pulls another card and flips over the beast.
Oh, damn.
Ah. You, Tannis, harbor the inner mechanisms of your so-called family. The ones who took you from the arms of your loved ones. They are, however, the ones who made you who you are. Both mentally and physically. Slight gestures towards your glove. Or what once was. As she leans in real close and whispers to you, Tannis. Keep your mind in check, boy, or it will mean the end. Not for you, but for them. As her eyes peer back behind you to Zielle and Theren. And Tannis, with that, you may level up to level 4.
Oh, what the fuck?
Madam Eva grabs the 2 cards, places them back in the deck.
You are done. Please take a seat.
As she waves up Zielle with one slight finger, calling you over.
I will approach the bench.
You take your seat right in the middle, looking over this table, the crystal ball, as Madam Eva begins to shuffle the deck once more in her wrinkled hands, the jeweled rings on her hand catching a card here and there.
Perhaps Zuni will guide you on this one.
Let's hope.
As she peers into your eyes, her head abnormally tilts backwards, mouth agape as her eyes shine a bright pink light like lanterns in the mist. Words begin to erupt from her mouth, though her lips do not move as a card is magically dragged out of the deck and placed onto the table with a similar, bright pinkish glow. Zielle, as this light protrudes from Madam Eva's eyes, a floral scent with a light spice wafts through the tent. A scent you haven't had the chance to find again since you were younger. As a voice rings in your ears and throughout the tent, a voice that is familiar to you, Zielle, and you have only heard once before. Paladin, I have witnessed your oath. and I thank you for upholding our tenets in my name. A sun elf who emphasizes beauty and love above all, stranded in the dreariest place in all of existence. Just know I am still here, child. I'm still watching over you, the best I can. Though I feel my connection is fading. Please be as her head abnormally tilts and cracks as her bones begin to shift as you can see them moving individually underneath her skin. Her eyes, once a vibrant pink, turn to voids of black as a second card is dragged out from the deck with a hint of black magic surrounding it.
No.
The card slides across the table face down with a mind of its own, closer and closer to you, before halting and flipping over.
No.
As Madam Eva's eyes return to her normal forest green, she regains her consciousness, settles comfortably in her chair once more, takes a deep breath before gazing down at the card pulled out onto the table in front of you. Her eyes widen as a lump is caught in her throat as she attempts to find words.
The executioner.
I think that one was a mistake. That's not right.
Do not, Wayne. Do not falter. Please kindly step out of the tent and wait for your friends outside.
I'm so sorry. She'll just turn around and rush out.
As Zielle exits, the cloth that shields the entrance falls down once more. Madam Eva shudders and tries to shake off the tension before she beckons Theren to the table. Zielle, you may also level up.
I think Tannis is going to watch Zielle leave, toss a glance back to Theren, and then follow Zielle out of the tent.
We will start with Theren's reading, and then we will move to outside.
Madam, do you need a moment?
All comes with the job. Oh, never had something that intense happen before, though. Possession? That's new.
Seems as if it was a little rough.
Let's hope yours turns it around, shall we?
Let's. I'll take a seat.
As she begins to shuffle, she sits back. The air is easy now for her as she's able to breathe once more as she pulls the first card.
A soldier. Interesting. Not that of war, of course, but of sacrifice. The stamina to endure great hardship is a trait not many can muster. But be wary, for it will slowly eat you away from the inside out.
As she reaches for the deck once more and pulls your second card.
There's always one, isn't there?
As she pulls the broken one.
Defeat, failure, despair. Broken ones hold something so dear to them, that which relates to the loss of something important, or someone, without which one feels incomplete. You will have a choice, Theren. Be whole, but you will lose everything in the process. You must be ready to accept this fate. If you do not, you will seal his. That is all I have for you and your group. I wish you the best of luck. If you would kindly leave the tent, rest is needed.
I appreciate your time. Thank you. Theren will stand up, give a slight little, bow, turn and leave the tent.
She slowly dips her head as she continues to shuffle the cards and place them over to the side. As we will move to Tannis, emerging from the tent, right before Theren's reading.
I guess she'll just walk back to the fire. She never really likes to be dismissed by anyone. She's still herself, but a little flustered or disturbed, I guess. She'll go back, pick up her wine glass, sit back down, kind of just stared into the fire.
Tannis is going to clock that, and then he's going to walk over to the fire as well, and then he's going to sit close, but not encroaching on your personal space, but close. Just going to stare into the fire as well before over his shoulder saying,
Well, that was something. I guess I owe you an apology. for what I said about Suni. She is very definitely real.
I will accept your apology. Suni would want me to.
Good, because I don't think I could handle doing that again. What happened?
Every time I think that we couldn't be more different, there seems to be something else we have in common, I guess. I'll explain once Theren joins us, but seems like we all carry some weight, some darkness that we did not ask for.
The tent flap opens to a Theren emerging, as you can see the fires from inside slowly begin to dim one by one, as Theren can rejoin the party at the campfire.
How'd yours go? Any god possession or anything like that?
I don't know. No possession. Mine was a little bit easier than yours, at least, Zielle.
Good. That was Suni. You heard her. Maybe you felt her, even smelled her being there. She's only spoken to me once before, but the other thing, I don't know what it is. And I hoped that I would never have to find out, as I haven't seen it in years. Or heard it, rather. You want to know my story? I hate not being in control. I want to choose what happens to me, and I know life doesn't just work like that all the time, but in this case it's not how it should be, just like a plague or a werewolf or a lost family member. It's not. I was the problem, you see. I was engaged to be married. Not by choice. It was an arranged wedding, as sun elves are quite aloof. They don't really do feelings. I know it may be surprising, but I'm quite the outcast among them. They usually found me to be too much, would be the best way to describe it. And I wanted nothing more than to leave. I even did once. I met Osrio when she was just a girl, some 15 years ago. I met Suni that night. I found the temple, but that was just after we had been betrothed and I had to return, and for 15 years. I endured it, and I didn't know how I would get out, but I just knew that I had to. One night, the night before we were to be wed, actually, something spoke to me in my head. It wasn't Suni, it was... I know it didn't speak this time, but it was whatever that was. I woke up and came to, I don't know, I was already awake, but I was over a million. A million was his name. I was over his body, and I killed him. And I didn't even choose to. And I'm not sure if that's worse, that I would be okay with it if I had chosen to do it, but the problem is that I didn't. He was not a good person, but he didn't deserve to die. Not even for my freedom. I left. I had nothing to tie me there, no one to threaten to bring me back anymore once that was done, and so I ran straight to Suni once I got back to Avrosa, and she protected me all these years. She accepted me as I was, and she's protected me, and never again have I heard that voice. And she never once cared that I had too much love or too much excitement or too much anything. Everything has been fine ever since then. And I thought maybe I wouldn't ever see it again, but when we crossed in those mists, the dread, the fear that I felt is the only other night I felt it is the night before my wedding. But I'm in control now. I'm stronger. I'm a lot stronger than I was. And it can't tell me what to do. But I'd love to find out what it is, just to make sure.
Z, I'm so sorry. I don't know if this is going to help, or if this will make things worse, or frankly, how you will see me after you hear it, but I think it's more important that you understand you're not alone. My brother, he didn't just die. I killed him. I killed my brother. I was desperate to escape, and he got in the way, and it was an accident. I didn't mean to. Gods, I would give anything to take that back. But I can't. And I've lived with that for years. And I know you've lived with yours for years alone, and it's excruciating. And so I just wanted you to know that you're not alone. And like you said, we'll figure it out together. Even if we are all a bit deranged in our own way.
I'm perfectly sane. Now.
Right. As am I. When I'm not, a wolf.
Like I said, I think we all have more in common than we could have expected. Perhaps we can help each other then.
Strength, control, family. Seems like this is a big theme between all of us. Maybe we can use it towards our advantage at some point. It'll help each other out in the end.
It's already been to our advantage, hasn't it? We're all here with each other. We can help these people. We can help a lot of people and ourselves.
You're right. I mean, we owe each other that much. After all, we've got nothing better to do.
We have a lot to do.
No, I meant that, right, yes, of course. Yes, we do have many important things to do. Speaking of the things that we have to do, was anyone writing any of those things down? Because I was not.
I remember everything. I did not just hold up my book full of intensive notes that I was taking the whole time.
Tannis is going to sort of look at Theren and go, "What did I tell you? She remembers for me."
The Theren just kind of rolls his eyes at both of them. Rest. I think that's what's next on the list.
Oh gods, yes, I could sleep for months, I think.
Rest. I hope Osria passed out a long time ago.
Oh, Osria. I hope she's okay.
She'll be fine. I know healing stuff. That was some good quality medicine they had. I was surprised.
Speaking of, did they show us which tent was ours?
They would have pointed that out to you. There were 2 empty tents and then a couple bedrolls sprouted about in the open air.
Theron's by the fire, doing his typical, taking care of his sword, checking out his armor.
Tannis is going to go to one of the bedrolls. He's going to lay down. I think he's going to give his arm a once-over. Tannis is going to adjust the, red cloak that he got from Zielle until it sort of serves as a blanket, trying to still his mind, which is going at about 100 miles an hour. And he'll lay his head back and start trying to count stars and find constellations.
And Zielle, would you like one of the tents?
Yes, she would prefer one of the tents, but she would kind of have stalled until Theren sat down, making it clear that he wasn't going for the tent, and then she would definitely go for the other tent that is available. She'll take her armor off and all that, and she'll wash her face. She has her little water skin, and she carries a little bowl, and she has her little mirror, so she's gonna do her little skincare routine.
Oh my god.
1, it is traditional to do stuff like that while you pray to Suni, but 2, she is just, after all that, needs the water in the face, cleansing sort of action. So she's just gonna do that and start praying to Suni and thanking her for coming to visit and just praying for protection and everything.
A nice little refresh alone in your tent before the night hits. It's calming and ease comes to your mind, which is very nice after finally hearing that voice after so many years and that familiar scent that you smelt on that very day. As we move to Theren, cleaning his sword. Theren, as you were taking note, the nicks, the scratches, the blood of a werewolf, a lot's gone on with this sword in the past couple days. Not just the past couple days, but your travels along the years, decades even. And as you hunker over this sword, focused, taking in the night, it's almost like a shockwave comes over your body. As if the wind is knocked out of your lungs, as if your heart skips a beat, as your sword begins to shake and tremble Like an earthquake is hitting, but only centered on you, as you hear a loud chunk of iron, a crack leading to a large thud, an impact, as you look down at your sword, and a slab has been cut from the top of the sword, right down the middle, leaving 2 parallel slabs at the top of the sword. What was once now your full greatsword is maybe 3/4 the size, with almost a T cut from the top. Theren, you now have a +1 bastard sword. You're going to continue using your greatsword stats. Once per long rest, when you use your Eldritch Blast, you may fire a second beam at a target of your choosing.
I got a new sword!
Trying to just establish what just happened.
There is this slab of iron now just sitting in the dirt right next to your sword where it came off. Again, almost like a perfect cross. Jagged and rugged. And your sword the same.
Is this something that I would have heard in any way from my bedroll, or is this something that was too far away?
Depends where you planted yourself. You might have heard the crack of the iron and the slab hitting the floor.
I'd say decently close. Tannis has a little bit of a fear of the dark at the moment.
You'd be able to peek your head up and see Theren inspecting his sword.
Everything all right?
Oh, yeah, I think. I don't know if maybe your wolf jaw cracked, Baron, or something.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. It feels different, but in a good way.
Odd. Oh, well, anyway, best of luck with that. Tannis is going to roll over and start looking for the dragon constellation that his mom used to show him when she told him the story that he shared today.
You guys settle in for the night, finally getting some well-deserved rest, trying to put the day's events behind you, as you've done every night so far. You may all take a long rest. As Tannis, Araja, in the morning, comes over to, I don't want to say gently, but Araja thinks it's gently, wake you up. Excuse me? Apologies for waking you.
Oh.
I know you all must be exhausted, but, we have a visitor. He's requested you all by name, as he points up the dirt path that took you down here towards the main road. And through a clearing in the trees, stationed at the crest of the path, sits a carriage, bathed in black, a black mare attached to the end of the reins, the windows heavily tinted to reflect the trees around the carriage like perfect dark mirrors. This elegant and luxurious carriage sits atop wrought iron wheels as an elderly-looking elf stands in the distance. He dons fanciful leather, a fur-lined cloak sits across his shoulders, and his arms are folded behind his back, chest high, chin up, to exude an air of respect and high manners. As he waits patiently. I went up to check what he wanted, and he's just standing there.
Tannis is just going to glance over and then glance back and say, menacingly.
I'll say. But, I feel respected, you know?
Same. Tannis is going to wipe some of the sleep out of his eyes, just a touch hungover from the slight excessive consumption of wine last night.
Araja looks to you one last time, Tannis. He said, leave Irina. He will see her soon enough. Wish I could tell you what that means. I don't even know who Irina is.
Right. Strange man. How does he know who he... You know what? It doesn't matter. Tannis is going to look around for Theren, because I think Theren would be the next person that he thinks of.
Sitting next to the fire in a position where he did sleep and the sword is draped across his shoulder as he's sitting in it, one knee up, one leg out.
Tannis is going to actually gently wake Theren up, and then he's going to just sort of catch him up on the situation. There's a man who's asked for us by name. I don't know what he wants. It's a black carriage with some elvish man, I don't know. He said to leave Irina behind.
Theren stands straight up and grabs his sword.
No. I don't think it's that carriage.
You're sure? Tall, lanky man, top hat, all black.
No, this man does not have a top hat.
Devilish smile.
No, he wasn't smiling. He had a widow's peak, long hair sort of came down.
Not him. Theren will just sit back down.
You need to find a better position to sleep in. That cannot be comfortable. Have you thought about a bedroll?
I sleep perfectly fine.
Fine. I'm gonna go find Azria and Zielle, I guess, and let them know what's going on. And then I'm gonna sort of look around. Do I see the medical tent where they would have taken Azria?
You would have known where they ended up. Waltz on over. As you peer inside Azria's tent, it is empty. A bedroll lies on the floor, neatly made and freshly cleaned, and a letter sits on the makeshift pillow, next to a basket of croissants.
Tannis is going to look around as he steps in, furrowing his brow, pick up the letter. Dear companions, it is with a heavy heart and a soul burdened by the trials of our journey that I pen these words. In the few battles we have faced, the wounds I have sustained have not merely affected my body, but have reached into the very core of my being. The scars, both seen and unseen, have left a mark upon my spirit and have opened up wounds of memories of a life I set aside long ago. As much as I have strived to be a stalwart companion, I have come to accept the path of the adventurer is not the one meant for me. I have decided to return to the village of Barovia. I will take my place at the Blood on the Vine Tavern in hopes of providing the town's citizens with a haven of comfort and solace in this dreadful valley. It is my hope to breathe life into the establishment, to fill its corners with the aroma of freshly baked pastries and the warmth of camaraderie. I depart with gratitude in my heart for the time spent in your company. Know that I cherish the memories we have forged together and the bonds we have built. May the road ahead bring you triumph and joy, and may our paths cross again, be it under the same moonlit sky or in the bustling hall of the enchanted hearth. I know you can find a way to free us, to free the people of Barovia, to bring an end to Strahd's tyranny. And when the mist finally falls, I will travel back to Avrosa. Please come find me. Drinks are on me, and I will have a feast waiting in your name. Farewell, my dear friends. Be safe. Azria. Tannis is going to, very carefully, I think, fold the letter back, look around the empty tent. I'll see you soon. Thank you for everything. He's going to grab the basket of croissants, and then he's going to leave the tent and go look for Zielle.
You would be able to find the empty 2 tents that Araja pointed out last night that were available for use. You would have seen which one Zielle went in before bed.
So Tannis is going to walk to the edge of the tent flap. He's not going to walk in. See?
What?
Zielle, are you awake?
Yeah, what?
We have to go. There's some elvish man who said he wants to see us. He called us by name.
Okay, hold on. We will then not hear from her for 10 minutes.
Tannis is just going to roll his eyes, adjust his red cloak that he still has, and then he's going to turn around and approach Theren. Pulled out the basket of croissants and the letter. It seems that Azria is not coming. And I'll hand him the letter.
What do you mean? Theron's gonna take the letter from your hand as you're saying this and look over it intently as you're talking.
Well, she said in the letter that she didn't feel that she was cut out for adventuring, and that this adventure had sort of rattled her. She's gone back to the Blood at the Vine Tavern. She hopes to do some good there, and that she is certain that we can defeat Strahd. She said that there would be a feast waiting when we got back to the Enchanted Hearth. She also said the drinks were on her, so don't let me forget that she said that.
He kind of holds the letter closer to his face, hands it back to you, pointing at it. Where's the part where she said she's not coming? Where's the part about the drinks? And what do you mean?
Well, did you read it?
Yeah. What else was I doing?
Well, I don't know, but if you'd read it, then you would see that it's sort of all through the letter. Tannis is going to point right here where she says, I have come to accept that the path of the adventurer is not the one meant for me.
Right. There it is. Okay.
Right.
This says farewell, right? And he points at scars.
You can't read, can you, Theren?
He just slams the paper down and just turned his back.
Well, if you wanted, we could keep the letter, and I could teach you. Obviously, you can read, but everyone needs a refresher every now and again. And
I had no parents, all right? How do you expect me to learn to read?
No, Theren, you misunderstand. I'm not mocking you. Okay, I'm offering to teach you, if you want. It'll be our secret. My lips are sealed. Okay?
Theren will turn back around and pick up the letter. Just show me which one says farewell.
See, it's right down here at the bottom. This shapes farewell. It's a farewell.
What's that?
Oh,
What?
you're sorry.
Oh.
We were both just
Oh.
we were both reading a letter that Osria left.
Yeah, both reading.
Wait, Osria left? What do you mean? She'll snatch the letter.
I do feel a bit guilty, but I hope it's for the best. I don't know.
You see her face will kind of fall initially, but as she reads it, it becomes less sad. Oh, Aussie. She was so brave coming out here. It's for the best. She'll help so many people there. She'll make their lives better every day. I just want her to be safe. I'm gonna miss her.
She did leave us croissants, if you're interested. There were only this many when I found it, he said, and there's like crumbs falling out of his mouth.
Wait, you said we have to... Someone's waiting for us? What?
Point to the elvish man up by the carriage and the turn back. He said that we need to go, but he also said that we should leave Irina behind, which seemed slightly menacing.
Yeah, perhaps that's better. We're not going anywhere, right? We'll just grab her after. Hold on. I'm gonna go like knock on Irina's door. Irina, are you up yet?
You see, she calls out to you, but she is clearly all covered up in her bedroll.
Yeah. Hi. Good morning.
I'm gonna stick my head in.
Oh, God, yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
No, sorry. I'm like trying to block the light. Like I have, like it's just my head, like with the tent flaps around. I'm sorry. There is a gentleman here to meet us, and I just wanted to tell you, I suppose we're going to talk to him now. They specifically requested that you don't come.
Good. Why would I want to go?
I don't know. I just felt bad leaving you here because I told you we protect you and we're going to. And if we're with whoever wants to see you, then surely they can't do anything. You'll be fine here, right? I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. I have company and I don't see these people leaving anytime soon. I would love a nice day to just wind down.
You deserve to. Okay, that's good. Stay in this camp. Stay close to Avrosa.
Be safe, please. Don't let him get to you.
Please. Let a man get to me.
Atta girl.
Okay, we can go. It's fine.
Right. Well, big smiles, everyone. This should be quite fun.
As you all gather together, you walk up the muddy path leading back up to the main road, where you departed from the gallows. As you approach this carriage, and as you get closer, the man takes one arm from behind him and opens the back door, revealing beautiful black leather interiors.
Strahd has requested your presence for brunch.
And that's where we'll end tonight's episode.
Brunch!
Brunch!
I just woke up!
It's brunch time. What do you mean? We'll see y'all in 2 weeks for Brunch with the Devil. Bye, everybody.
Brunch!
Bye.
If there aren't devil days, I'm leaving.
Hello, cast and crew. You probably were wondering why Sin wasn't in this episode, so I just wanted to pop in and bring everyone up to speed. Sin is sadly no longer with the cast. We are all disheartened, but they have their own stuff going on. There are absolutely no hard feelings between Sin, the party, the cast, anything. We absolutely adore them. Life gets busy, and we totally understand. And we want to wish them the best of luck on everything they do moving forward. This is not stopping Nocturne at all. We are still moving forward and have an incredible story to tell. There will, however, be a replacement cast member coming soon, so look forward to that. Good luck, everybody. Thank you so much for being here.